Let us talk a little bit about Abish. She is a figure in the Book of Mormon. She's one of only 3 women that are named in the Book of Mormon. And she plays a vital role in the conversion of the Lamanites during the mission of the sons of Mosiah. But we don't really know a lot about her. She is brought into the story in chapter 18 of Alma, when Lamoni and his whole household are overcome by the Spirit. She's the only one that isn't, and she goes out and tells all the people. They all gather together, they have a big contention, they're all fighting amongst each other. You have the one guy tries to kill Ammon and is killed by the Lord, and then Abish comes back to the house of the king. Seeing the contention, she's in sorrow, she reaches out, touches the queen's hand, and the queen is awoken and raises up. And then she disappears from the record just as quickly as she came into it. Who is Abish? Now, I don't know. There may be some information about her stored in some archive of the church that nobody gets to read, but let us speculate on the information that we do have. Now, before I continue with this one, I must emphasize that this is my speculations. We don't know about Abish. We don't have any official statement about her or her father. And so what I will say from this point on is my speculations of who she was, who her father was, and how they fit into the story. We know that she was a servant of the queen. She was the queen's handmaid, which means, most likely, she was not all that old. The handmaidens of the queen would not have been older than the queen. So she is likely in her 20s. It says she was converted by a remarkable vision that her father had had many years earlier. So if she's, say, in her 20s, as I think she was, her father would be in his 40s, maybe as old as in his 50s. So when did her father live? When did he have his remarkable vision? Well, this conversion of Lamoni takes place in the first year of the reign of the judges, which is approximately the year 90 BC. Limhi and Alma both escaped the Lamanites and joined Zarahemla in the year 120 BC, 30 years earlier. So if her father is in his 40s, or say 50s at this time, 30 years earlier, he would have been in his late teens, maybe early 20s, maybe a soldier in the Lamanite army. Could it be that her father had contact with either the people of Limhi or the people of Alma? Was he a guard who was set to guard the people of Alma in the land of Helam before they escaped? And did he have contact? Did he talk to the Nephites? Was he taught by a Nephite at that time? We're told he had this remarkable vision. And we know that at the same time, God is doing a lot of things to prepare the Lamanites for their conversion, for the time that the sons of Mosiah would come down. This is when the Lamanites start learning how to read and write. Through the priests of Noah, they gain this knowledge of reading and writing. All the righteous Nephites have been gathered back up to Zarahemla. The stage is being set. Could it be that Abish, his father, had his contact with the Nephites, and because of that, he sought out God and had his vision at about this same time? In all the scriptures, it is very rare for somebody to just suddenly have a vision out of the blue. It's actually never really happened. The only 2 times that a person had a vision, as recorded in Scripture that I can think of, where they were not actively seeking the Lord. Now, a lot of people, they're praying and they have visions. That happens frequently in the Scriptures. The only 2 times where somebody had a vision when they weren't praying for it was Alma the Younger and Paul in the New Testament. But Alma the Younger had his vision because his father was praying for it. And Paul had his vision because the Christians that were being persecuted were praying for it. God does not contact people who are not either actively seeking God, or who do not have somebody else in their life who is seeking God on their behalf. I do not think that Abish's father just had a vision one day and became converted. It doesn't work like that. He had to have had contact with the gospel in some way. He had to be seeking God in some way. I think he was a guard over the land of Helam. He was taught by a Nephite, and after Alma and his people escaped into Zarahemla, he began to pray. He had heard the gospel, and he sought God. And he has his vision, and he teaches his family, and his daughter grows up knowing the gospel. And Abish, his daughter, is converted through the teaching of her parents. It is at this time when Limhi and Alma are escaping into Zarahemla, that God is working to prepare the Lamanites for their conversion, both in them learning how to read and write, and in planting that seed in the father of Abish, so that there was somebody already there when the sons of Mosiah came down. We see God working in the background, but he's always there, setting the stage so that things can happen when they need to.